In this video we're going to see how to convert Riemann summation notation and the defined integral. First, let's see a graph. Whatever graph of f of x we have could be this graph, for example, and we want to find the area under the curve from here to, let's say, here. So the area under the curve is represented as the integral from here, let's say a to b, from a to b, of this function f of x times d of x. You can think this as if you have multiple rectangles here, but we will talk a little bit in a while. You know, the area of this is the width times the height of the function. The height of the function is defined as f of x. So the integral is kind of a multiplication if you see it this way, and this is the area under the curve, and it's from x equals to a to x equals to b. Now this is going to be the same as the approximation of the area with Riemann summation is the width of each rectangle. This width is delta x, let's say, delta x, times the height. The height is could be f of x, the height, f of x. Now we have this is the area of one rectangle. Now let's call this first one, let's say this one is I. So this is I. I would call well, we could call I to this value or this value. It depends which one. First, we're going to do the right Riemann sum. So would be this. This would be I sub 1, and this would be I sub 2, I sub 3, and I sub 4. So we have 4 intervals. Let me turn on the light. Alright, now we have 4 intervals in this case, each one with delta x as the width. Now the height will be f of, here will be f of x sub I times delta x, plus the area of the next one will be f of x sub I2, here I1, delta x, plus delta x times f of x sub I3, etc. And plus delta x times f of x I sub 4, like that. Now this is the same as the summation. Sigma is the summation symbol, summation of f of x sub I times delta x. Now this goes from I equals 1, here I put 1, 2, 3, 4, to n, whatever, in this case n is equal to 4, because we have 4 rectangles or 4 subintervals. Now when we are approximating the area, we want that the width be as smallest as it can, and so we will have infinitely many rectangles. So this is the limit as the intervals n approaches infinity. So this is how we convert. Here we have some examples. This is how we convert from integral to Riemann summation notation. The integral of f of x delta x actually is the same as the limit as n approaches infinity of the summation from I equals 1 to n of f of x sub I delta x. Now, this was the Riemann sum. If we want the left, this was the right Riemann sum. If we want the left Riemann sum, what we can do is, instead of having the height being f of this this x. So instead of being f of x sub I being this I sub 1. We want that be this height because we want now the left end point. So we would say f of x sub I sub 0, or you could say that is f of x sub I sub 1 minus 1, and so you will have I sub 0. Oh well, here if we do this one with left Riemann sum is again 4 in intervals, but with left Riemann sum we would have f of x sub I 0, so I 0, well, f of x sub 0 delta x plus f of x sub 1 delta x plus f of x sub 2 delta x, etc. You can put it as this one would be the limit, well, taking infinity rectangles. So when we take the limit as n approaches infinity of the summation now of f of x sub I, yes, times delta x, but from I equals 0 to, if this is, this would be I, if we put this as I equals 0, this would be, this will be I equals 1, this I equals 2, and this I equals 3. So if we have 4 rectangles, for example, we would go, this would be, this example is the summation from n equals 0 to, from I equals 0 to n equals is 4 minus 1 would be 3 of f of x times delta x. So we have infinity many rectangles. We put the limit as n approaches infinity of I equals, of the summation from I equals 0 to n minus 1 of f of x I beginning as I sub 0, or the other way is you can put it as the limit as n approaches infinity of the Riemann summation from I equals 1 to n, but f of x sub I minus 1, because now you have, when I is equal 1, this is f of x sub 0, the same as here, when I is equal 0, you have f of x sub 0. So the first term will be always f of x sub 0. You can put it as the summation from I equals 0 to n minus 1 of f of x sub I delta x, or the summation from I equals 1 to n of f of x sub I minus 1 times delta x. This is for the left Riemann sum. This, though, is for the right Riemann sum. Look that it is different. We have the limit as n approaches infinity of I, of the summation from I equals 1 to n of f of x and sub I delta x, and this is the limit as n approaches infinity of the Riemann sum from I equals 1 to n of f of x sub I minus 1. So these two are different because the points that we are taking are different. Here there is are different points that we are evaluating the height or the f of x. If you want to write now the right Riemann sum, beginning from I equals 0, in order to see the comparison with this one, you would have the limit as n approaches infinity of the summation from I equals 0, of first this way. You would put f of x sub I plus 1 delta x, and here you would put n minus 1, because you here you do the summation until f of x sub n. So here you put the last term, that is when I is equal to this. So you have f of x sub n minus 1 plus 1. So that is f of x sub n. So the representation of Riemann summation is the integral from a to b of f of x dx in right Riemann sum is the limit as n approaches infinity of the right Riemann. Well, actually there is no need to say right Riemann sum, because in this way you already know that it's right Riemann sum. So of the Riemann summation from I equals 1 to n of f of x sub I delta x, or the limit as n approaches infinity of I sub 0 of the summation from I equals 0 to n minus 1 of f of x sub I plus 1 delta x. This is the right Riemann sum. The left Riemann sum will be the limit as n approaches infinity of the summation from I equals 0 to n minus 1 of f of x sub I delta x equals the limit as n approaches infinity of the summation from I equals 1 to n of f of x sub I minus 1 times delta x. So it is traditional that when we rewrite the integral in the Riemann sum, if it is right Riemann summation, traditionally we write it as beginning from I equals 1, and so here we put f of x sub I. But we could do it this way, it's the same. And traditionally we write the left Riemann sum as beginning from I equals 0. So traditionally we write them when we have the summation of f of x sub I. But in order to have f of x sub I for the left Riemann sum, we need to begin from I equals 0. And so we will go from I equals 0 to n minus 1. And from the right Riemann sum, we will go from I equals 1 to n. So this is the traditional way, but we can write them either way. In the midpoint Riemann summation, it's also traditionally to begin from I equals 0. We will talk about this one in the next video. I think that this is getting too long. So in the next video we will do these exercises, and we will do another video. I think if this gets too long, another video completely of many exercises about transcribing Riemann summation notation and the defined integral.